From the rubble of the World Trade Center to a new threat looming over the American landscape, U.S. intelligence leaders whisper a chilling caution within the corridors of power. And good morning once again. Friday, October 5th, live in New York City again. I'm Bill Hemmer. Good to have you with us again as our coverage continues this hour. Several developing stories we're watching now, rippling from ground zero of the World Trade Center to the all-important numbers of an international coalition. Washington's most public ally, British Prime Minister Tony Blair in Pakistan at this hour to further solidify that country's pledge of support in the anti-terror campaign. Later today, Mr. Blair travels on to Pakistan's long-standing enemy. He'll be in New Delhi, India a bit later. The politics of geography also the focus of conversation today between Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld and the President of Uzbekistan. The former Soviet republic shares a border that stretches for 80 miles in the northern section of Afghanistan. And sources tell CNN Uzbek officials are welcoming U.S. troops now and in the future. More coming up on that momentarily. Also, haunting images or a terrible specter of things to come from the shadows of U.S. law enforcement voicing Americans' worst fears. A lot more on all those stories straight ahead here, but we want to give you some more details on Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld's trip to Uzbekistan. Again, that's north of Afghanistan. It could play a key role in any U.S. military action. The stop there in Tashkent comes after meetings with other potential players in the U.S. coalition. Uzbekistan of particular importance because of its strategic location. CNN's Jamie McIntyre gives us the latest developments out of that country traveling with the Defense Secretary.
The most significant development of this trip so far, as Rumsfeld wraps it up, Uzbekistan announcing today that it will allow the United States to use a single Uzbek airbase, but only for humanitarian missions and for search and rescue missions. The president of Uzbekistan, Islam Karimov, said he was not yet ready to make a decision to allow the United States to launch offensive strikes or commando raids from his country's soil. But he clearly left that option open for the future.
Jamie McIntyre reporting a short time ago. From here, there will be a short stopover in Turkey before Donald Rumsfeld makes his way back here to the U.S. For more on his visit, though, in Uzbekistan, Alessio Vinci is in the capital city of Tashkent. Alessio filed this report from there.
Uzbekistan may prove to be the United States' strongest ally in Central Asia because the two countries have common cause in the region, fighting the terrorists who have struck in both lands. In supporting Washington's fight against terrorism, President Islam Karimov sees an opportunity to defeat the terrorist threat against his own country. Uzbekistan has been fighting a similar war for years, especially the IMU, the Islamic Movement of Uzbekistan, thought to be responsible for a series of bomb attacks in the capital Tashkent in 1999. The U.S. administration has linked the IMU to the Al-Qaeda terror network of Osama bin Laden, and President Karimov believes the IMU is backed and trained by terrorist organizations in Afghanistan.
We know very well who these camps are training and who the terrorists are targeting. From this point of view, should we not support the United States of America, a superpower today, in its efforts aimed at destroying those camps?
But Uzbekistan cannot offer unconditional military support to the United States because the government does not want to involve its troops in a long and costly war against the Taliban. Instead, Uzbekistan is promising logistical help, such as opening its airspace to U.S. military aircrafts and possibly allowing U.S. ground troops to be deployed at air bases near the border with Afghanistan. But President Karimov also fears too close an alliance with the U.S. could invite reprisals from terrorist groups in Afghanistan. He has kept details of military cooperation under the wraps.
I do not want war. I know they may attack us tomorrow. They may attack our land, our soil. They will cross into an independent country and organize bomb attacks, sabotage, and disrupt peace here.
Unlike neighboring Afghanistan and Tajikistan, Uzbekistan has enjoyed a decade of relative peace, and many here support the U.S. fight against terrorism. I think our leaders will find a solution to the problem, she says. Bush, Putin and Karimov are wise and good politicians, and Karimov is worried about his people. There is apprehension here. War may soon start again in the region, and people here wonder how long it can stay out of Uzbekistan. Alessio Vinci, CNN, Tashkent.
Back here now in the U.S. this morning, the U.S. has waged its war on terrorism on two different fronts: a public parade of military readiness and a more private campaign of diplomatic maneuvering. But as both deployments lead away from the U.S., a more insidious threat burrows inside the nation's borders. According to the Washington Post today, members of the intelligence community have briefed lawmakers behind closed doors that another major attack is not only likely, but virtually assured if the U.S. strikes Afghanistan.